We stay with football now on the SportsMax zone. The Jamaica Premier League continues to serve up tantalizing fixtures as the season heats up. Match week 17 is on the horizon. These are the matchups. Humberline up against Montego Bay United, Falkland play Harbourview, Waterhouse play Bay United, Donby Holden will be facing off against Tivoli Gardens, Malines United play Arnett Gardens, Portmore United up against Chapelton Maroons, and Mount Pleasant, they'll be facing Cavalier. Well, the standout game of the round sees leaders Mount Pleasant taking on Cavalier. Although in third, Cavalier only 3 points behind Mount Pleasant. Our in-house football analyst, Leger Williams, joins us to preview the big game. Leger, what are you thinking? Who walks away with this one? Is it that it's going to be a draw? Do you think that it's going to be one team dominated? We have so much questions.
Yeah, there's some tough questions right after. But first of all, who I think is going to win, I'm not quite sure yet. But the recent trends say that Mount Pleasant are going to get the victory because Cavalier haven't been any of the top teams so far this season. They've actually, so far this season, I can say the 4 big games that they've played in terms of Arnett Gardens, they've lost to Arnett Gardens twice. They've lost to, there's a graphic for it, they've lost to Mount Pleasant already this season 1-0, and they've drawn with Harbourview, who aren't in the best of form, but they are the defending champions, so that's a big game for them as well. So I think psychologically speaking, it would be good for them to get a victory in this game against Mount Pleasant, because Mount Pleasant, yes, they've been in good form, they haven't lost in 7 games, but 3 of those games have been draws, nil-all draws at that, because Mount Pleasant haven't conceded a goal in 7 games, which is remarkable. 11 clean sheets in their 16 league games so far this season, so they've been really strong defensively, and statistically, they have the best attack in the league, but it doesn't really feel that way. You know, they aren't creating like a whole host of chances. They aren't flooding attacks, say, for instance, like Arnett does or like Cavalier do. But they have scored 29 goals, which is the most in the league. But if you think about it, 13 of those have come from Trevante Stewart. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not really sure who's going to get the victory yet.
Yeah, the fact is, though, Cavalier, well, they scored 4 goals in their last match, albeit against Chapelton, who have been struggling, even though they've been improving a bit, Chapelton. But I think Cavalier has a score to settle here, because I know their coach, Rudolph Speed, is a very proud coach, and he would be fully aware of the statistics that you just reeled off about them not having too much success against the top teams. And I know Rudolph Speed and how he thinks. He would want to turn that around to, you know, get people's minds off the fact that Cavalier are not strong against top teams.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how he decides to go about it, because even if you think about their last big game against Arnett, in my opinion, I did that game, I think that Cavalier had the better of Arnett in terms of a tactical sense. They set up really well, but they were done on the counter. In other big games, they've decided to go more the possessional based route, and then they got done on the counter. So it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamics between them and Mount Pleasant, whether or not they want to go for the game and try to keep compact or try to keep possession. So it'll be interesting to see how they want to create chances, what type of system they go for. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to pan out, but it's definitely a must-see game.
Yeah, the Mount Pleasant team, Leger, is a team that top of the table, yes, but there's something to most football fans that is unconvincing about Mount Pleasant. They have been getting the job done. This is a regular season, which doesn't count as much as the playoffs. But when I hear football fans talk about Mount Pleasant, they don't seem convinced, even though they are leaders, that they are playing in a way that suggests that they would give confidence that they will be champions.
Yeah, I think in a league format, Mount Pleasant, when it comes down to them, they have the most quality in the league. Position for position in terms of squad depth and even just their best 11, Mount Pleasant have the strongest 11 in the league. But then they just aren't gelling right. As you said, they aren't playing the best football. When you think about Arnett, you think about Cavalier, you think about even some of the teams below that, Humberline are playing some relatively good stuff as well. So, yes, they're playing well, but right now I think it's just more so their quality pushing them through as opposed to something real tactical or tangible that I can say, okay, they're doing this really well, and then they'll progress like this when it goes into the playoffs.
So what happens to them when things get heated then? If they're getting through based on, you said you can't tell if it's their quality or one thing in particular that's getting them through. So what happens when, they face an opponent that has everything clicking right for them?
And that's why I said a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, I said that I think that it's the teams below them in Arnett and Cavalier that I see as the favorites to go on and win the title, because yes, right now in a league format, the team with the best players qualitatively are going to push through and top the table. They're always going to be up there if you look at any league across the world. But then when it gets on to more of a knockout stage now, it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up that and just rely on their quality solely, or if the better tactical plans are going to undo them, or if just the team who wants it more. Like, say, for instance, tactical plan-wise, Cavalier is always going to come up with a brilliant tactical plan, and then a team who wants it more, Arnett Gardens, they're always going to come out and play really hard, and on top of that, they have good players as well who can dominate the ball. So it's going to be a tough one for them in the playoffs if they don't fix up. At least there's still a lot of time to go.
Another the Monday games that we're looking at, Leger, is the Portmore Chapelton game. Portmore have been the most successful team in the history of the Jamaica Premier League, but they are one place outside a playoff spot at the moment, and their offensive game has been disappointing all season. They haven't lost a lot of games, but they aren't scoring as many goals as they need to score. Will Chapelton offer them the opportunity to boost their scoring tally?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Chapelton are much better as of late. Even that 4-1 against Cavalier, I don't think that was a 4-1 game.
They were in it for a long time.
Yeah, so Chapelton will give anyone a tough game, especially depends on the type of surface that they're playing on, because Chapelton can knock it around. And with Portmore, as you mentioned, they're struggling offensively, but I think that was due to a lot of creativity from midfield, and they've certainly fixed that issue, because if you look at the quality in their squad, creativity-wise at the very least, because I don't think about creativity just as a number 10 position, but they have that sorted. Lamar Walker, one of the best young creators in the league, he's going to be. Then you bring in Alex Marshall, who people know him as a goal scorer, but when playing on that right-hand side, he's going to be creating chances. Satchwell, who got so many assists at the Manning Cup level, he's going to be creating chances. Tevin Scott is a striker who knows how to bring his teammates into play. Then they have Rousseau at left back.
He's the leading scorer, isn't he, for the team?
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's a left back.
And he's such a really good creative player as well. And even when you talk about their centre-backs, Rudolph Austin, with his progressive passing, he knows how to get the ball into those midfield players. So theoretically and on paper, this should be a coach's dream to have these players at his disposal, but it hasn't worked out yet. But I'd be very shocked if Portmore don't make the top 6 at the very least.
Yeah, well, we're waiting to see how that unfolds. And if you want to go see Monday Night Football live, don't worry, SportsMax has you covered. We have 2 tickets to give away. All you have to do is answer the following question correctly. In Gameweek 16, who scored a hat-trick and in what minutes were the goals scored? Well, Leger, any hints you want to give to our viewers?
Well,
Hint,
hint. I would just like to say, because I have to big up SportsMax all the time, the answer may or may not be on our YouTube channel.
Really?
That's all I can say. You have to search for it where it is, but it may or may not be there.
All right, let me tell you the question one more time before I leave you. In game week 16, who scored a hat-trick and in what minutes were the goals scored? WhatsApp us on 876-564-7661. We have tickets to give just to you. It's break time. Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.